right, so hey, people of God, this is Rashana B back with On My Way Up movement, and I'm back with a quick word. So I wanted to talk to um, both men and women about this particular subject, and I'm gonna be really vulnerable about a certain situation that I experienced personally myself. So I want to talk about how I had met someone, right? I had met this guy, and for no apparent reason, I was really attracted to him, and I really couldn't understand why, because he wasn't really my typical type. It wasn't that he wasn't attractive, but he just wasn't what I would normally go for, right? But I found myself like really attracted to him, and I'm like, wow. And I couldn't put my finger on why, okay? And it stayed with me, and it was so strong that I felt like a pull towards this guy. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I have never felt so drawn to somebody. And I mean, I really have never, just off minimal conversation, like I was just super duper drawn. Like, I would think about this guy a lot. And where I initially met him, I found myself hoping that I would run back into him. I mean, it was really weird, okay? And it was unusual. It was unique because for the last, few years, I've been single, I've been celibate, and I have not saw anyone that I was just attracted to, which is another really strange thing. But I really just believe it's just, God. And so, and I've seen guys that are attractive that I do feel like are my type, but I just wasn't attracted in a way that I, wanted to be pursued by them, or that I was interested in getting to know them on a deeper level, other than just passing by them in the grocery store, or, whatever the case may be. But this guy, it was different, and he was on my mind a lot. And it just really, that's just very unique for me. That really doesn't happen. And so I actually, because I am wanting marriage, and I am already preparing myself for marriage, I'm already praying about it, I start wondering, well, I wonder if this guy is my husband, right? And so I, talked to some wise counsel, and, they were kind of like, on the fence about it. But it was just amazing, the pull I feel, right? So about right after that time, I was in prayer, and I had a vision, okay? And he's a business owner, so I had a vision of a witch in his shop, and I was like, wow, where did that come from, And so it kept coming up, right? It just kept crossing my mind. So finally, it was like, okay, God is showing me that I need to pray. I need to, pray for this guy. This guy is under witchcraft attack. And then just through more prayer, I was able to interpret that it was attack on his finances. And so God gave me this real strong prophetic word for him. And basically, it wasn't my place to contact him or, tell him personally, but just as an intercessor and as, a prophetess, to pray for him. So I started praying for him, right? And so I was like, wow, okay, well, maybe that's what it was about. So I was like, okay, well, God, if he's not my husband and this is just an assignment, then Lord, just take this pull, this yearning that I have for him away, because the enemy is trying to pervert what you have assigned me to do. Sure enough, the other day, it hit me that I hadn't been thinking about him, right? And I was like, wow. And so I'm saying all that to say that for us that are single, for us who are wanting marriage, that sometimes, we can misconstrue that, and that the enemy is using our desire, which is actually a good desire. It's actually God given for you to want marriage. It definitely means that you are called for marriage. It's nothing wrong with you having that desire, but the enemy will twist that up and have you pervert an assignment, okay? I could have perverted that assignment. I could have defiled that assignment. I've met a strong woman of God, that told me that she actually was assigned, or a certain person was assigned for her to pray for, and she ended up falling in the lust and attraction, and ended up in this really like toxic, brutal marriage that actually left her terminally ill. So, not that it has to be that dramatic, but in her case it was. And I remember her telling me, she said, I was supposed to be praying for this man and I failed, you know. And I just want all of you to be very, very cautious, you know, being shrewd as a serpent, okay? Because the enemy will try to twist what is innocent and good and have you led astray, you know. And it can go so many different directions when you are assigned to something. This also shows a promotion in the spirit. It's showing that God is entrusting you to do something. This is also a test. This is also a show of your maturity or lack of as a child of God, as an intercessor, as an evangelist, as a prophet, apostle, whatever you've been called to do or to be. This is also a test. So I want you to pray along the lines when you are assigned to somebody, especially the opposite sex, and well, only the opposite sex in this case, and you find yourself having this really strong attraction. There's something very attractive anyway about spiritual people, especially spiritual people with authority or in a position of power or status, like pastors and stuff like that. And you know, women can find themselves vulnerable, single, and you know, falling in love with their pastor or their leader, you know. So these are things that you have to be mindful of, you know, and be very, very discerning, because sometimes it could just be your feelings, your desires speaking to you. This is an assignment that God has entrusted you with. This is holy ground. Okay, this is holy ground when God has entrusted you to see something in someone's life. You know, that's holy ground. When he shared with you a revelation, he shared with me a revelation that this man was about to go through a really huge financial upheaval, a financial crisis. Okay, he revealed that to me, and you know, he gave me a lot more detail about it, but I am charged to pray. And if I was to go in with my own desires and pervert that, God wouldn't trust me with an assignment for a while, you know. And it just wouldn't be a blessed thing, you know, to turn it into something that it wasn't supposed to be in the beginning. But it can happen that fast, that easy. So I just pray that you all are discerning about your emotions, your feelings, discerning about the people that you encounter. And you know, because as a child of God, and especially somebody who prays a lot, you have to understand that you don't encounter and connect with people for no reason. Nothing is arbitrary in your life. You're a child of God. You know, you've been set apart. You probably live in a life of consecration. You're probably a praying person. No one that you encounter, especially connect with, okay, feel a pull and a draw to, is for no reason. Okay, and so you need to pray about that and make sure that you're acting accordingly, because God has entrusted you to step into holy ground. So I pray that this word blesses you. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, tell me what y'all think about my content, and I'll be back with another word. Y'all stay blessed.